Hello, everyone. For today's episode to get career insights and advice from a woman professional, we have here today Sarah from Google. So, hello, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here today. So, just to get started, Sarah, what do you do at Google and what inspired you to pursue that role?
Sure. So I'm an advertising solutions architect for measurement. Primarily, I help implement Google's measurement products on ads and analytics with large customers typically. So what got me into that role, I can give a little bit of a background on my career journey. So I studied psychology in college and I really gravitated towards the data analysis and all of that was being done. I started first working in a lab when I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to graduate school and be a psychologist, but after that, I got an internship in market research, which showed me how that same data analysis that I was doing in class could be really useful in the business world. It really, can be helpful to study human behavior in a data-driven way and have those numbers right in front of you. So there I helped, run surveys and do that kind of offline research. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after school, so I applied to all kinds of data analysis jobs and, pretty much anything along those lines. And I landed in a digital marketing agency. So what I did there was really pivot into the world of online research with web analytics and tagging, studying that same behavior, but on websites in a more direct way. It doesn't require an answer on a survey. It's more just what are you doing on the web page and how does that translate into insights for the business. And when I was ready for a change, then I became a product manager for web analytics at Estee Lauder. And that introduced me to more of the retail and e-commerce world. And I became, more of a leader in that organization where I managed the web analytics and tagging for about 200 websites. And from there, I was recruited to Google to be in this role. So really, I think what brought me here was data analysis at first, like really getting that good basis. I really dove deep into Google's products and worked with Google Analytics and Google Ads at every stage of my career. So when it came time to interview, I showed that I was like really a subject matter expert and an expert practitioner in those. At its core, I really just had an interest in human behavior that I used to do kind of more, it's not non-traditional as it's a traditional career, but I would say not the exact intended use of my degree. But I'm not an engineer. I was never like a math wizard in any way, so I didn't necessarily think tech was going to be for me. But what I found is there are a ton of roles that are, adjacent to product, like sales, marketing, sales support, that you can really lean into what technical skills you do have, and it's a really interesting job.
Yeah, that was a lot of information, but a really insightful journey from psychology to where you are today. Now, diving more into the purpose of this organization and a question like that, have you ever felt underestimated as a woman in a fairly male-dominated area? And if yes, then what advice can you give to young girls in building confidence or just in general in environments where they feel like the minority?
Yeah, so I would say I had less of a typical entrance into tech in the smaller companies than working at a cosmetics company. I wasn't in so many male-dominated rooms early in my career, but what I definitely struggled with confidence just being the youngest person in the room. And I think that has sort of continued as I've joined bigger and bigger companies. People are just older in the roles that I've joined. It's less early career professionals. So I think something that I tended to do in the beginning of my career was clam up and go silent in a room with older people or people that I perceived as more accomplished or further along in their careers. I think what has happened or what has helped with that is really knowing if you don't shout your accomplishments and if you don't really document things, no one will know. I think sometimes women in business tend to want to something I've heard is they want to make things look easy while men tend to want to make things look hard. And I think it's more helpful to say this was hard and here's exactly what I did. People will always respect you if you contribute something to the conversation, even if you're not sure if you have anything useful to say. And also it's really powerful to be able to say I don't know, but I can look into it and get back to you, rather than either making something up or saying nothing. Also finding mentors who are later on in the career and, learning what has worked for them and what's helpful. Like, I think an organization like this, just to hear from people who are a little bit further along in their career, is really helpful, because it's hard to know what will help you be successful in the business world when you haven't been in it. But I think just faking the confidence until you're there and really trying to contribute to every conversation that you're in will help build confidence over time.
Yeah, talking about mentors, you dove right into the next question. Working at such a big company like Google, there is probably a lot of challenges you face each day. So my question is, what motivates you every day? Are there any books, podcasts, or mentors that you look up to that, deeply influence your mindset?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I've drawn a lot of motivation from kind of mastering my routine and mastering my day to day. I've definitely, like, for mentorship, like, spoken to people higher up in my leadership chain and really gotten to know them and people in the organization. But really what, like, gets me out of bed every day is, like, gamifying my routine. I have ADHD, and especially the pandemic hit, when I was about a year into working, and that really drastically changed the working environment that I was in. I was working from home, I was unsupervised, I was still really learning the business world, and I really had to learn how to structure my life and reward myself for each little thing I could get done. Something that really helped me also in business is just having my life organized and optimized, and I did that by speaking to professionals outside of the business world, like professional organizers, personal trainers, people who know what they're doing in terms of craft. Like, understanding how to optimize your life will help you at work as well. Like, it doesn't sound like organizing my closet would help me get myself organized at work, but the same principles apply. And I found that super helpful. And you'll be less stressed during the day if you're not coming home to a messy apartment. So gamifying things, mastering my routine, understanding how to optimize my life in all ways has helped me both inside and outside of work. And in terms of books and podcasts, I tend to keep it more entertainment focused, but that's okay. That's okay too.
No, that's really okay. Whatever works for you. But for our last question, if you could give an advice to your younger self, so like 16 and 17-year-old, what would you give them to be at the point you are today?
I would say don't take no's personally. I definitely used to take, or just negative feedback in general. It's been a big struggle for me not to take, like, even constructive feedback very personally and let it get me down for a couple hours. Applying to jobs after college graduation, I probably applied to like 150, 200 jobs. Got 2 yeses along the way, but those were the only yeses I needed. And I found myself in a job that I never imagined myself having. So really just knowing things will work out how they're meant to. Just persistence is key, and don't take no as like an absolute no forever.
That's an amazing answer. So thank you so much for talking to us today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I learned a lot from you as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.